Too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears. Les Brown. Well, it's day 13 of 31 days to overcome fear. I'm Jewel Carter. Mother's Day, a very emotional day that started with me putting my daughter on a bus to go spend some time with her big brother, leaving me at home alone for Mother's Day. She wasn't supposed to leave until Wednesday, but I wasn't in the mood to babysit a ready-to-be-grown, but not ready for the responsibilities that come with grownness 20-year-old. As I told her before dropping her off at the bus station at 6:45 in the morning on Mother's Day, I love you and I will always be your mother, but we don't have to be friends. Writing about all this stuff has brought to the forefront some painful memories that I've managed to bury in a shallow grave in my front yard. So I walk past it every day, but pretend it's not there. I heard about this book on the very subject called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. I bought it, held it, put it on my bookshelf, and never read it. I already knew that was the truth, and I wasn't ready to deal with the truth. Until now. Maybe. I've never been a big circle of friends kind of person, and my closest ones were usually men. I believe that my choice to not have many close female friends originated from my mother having so many. They traveled together, partied together, bowled on leagues together, shared secrets, cried, laughed, even lied for each other. It was a friend who picked up my mom's clothes off the front lawn of our apartment complex after my dad decided she had too many and they and her had to go. It was a friend that took my mother in when her leukemia-ridden boyfriend decided to use his illness as an explanation for locking her outside of the house that he begged her for years to move into with him, allowed her to clean it, prepare all his meals, and share his bed in. It was a friend who lost her only child and attempted to take her own life. And my mother, who stepped in, stood watch, held her, fed her, bathed her, and refused to leave her alone while she grieved. It was a friend that paid this then 14-year-old to babysit her 2 boys overnight while she went on a date. Their arguing woke me up. The sounds of them having sex embarrassed me. But what happened the next morning broke my heart, and it changed my life forever. See, I struggle even now to tell this story because, as I said, it changed my life forever. And even though it happened over 30 years ago, is it fair that I bring up past hurts that someone else may have been able to lay to rest? I'm really only concerned with one person in this story, and I just don't know. I guess I'll have to leave this for another day. It was also another friend that found my mother lying unconscious on her basement floor, who called an ambulance, sent my mom off without knowing what hospital she was being taken to, a friend who let her go alone with no identification. My mom was listed as a Jane Doe. I drove 4 hours to get to the hospital and made it there before the friend arrived. Yeah, I'm good on friends. It's no wonder why we've been in the city for over 8 years and I have 2.5 friends. That's an inside short joke, and he knows who he is. And I'm okay with that. I wrote this poem on my mom's birthday last year. I'd like to share it with you. It's called In the Box. There's a box on the highest shelf of my bookcase. It sits on top of a Bible. It belonged to my grandma. She died 1 month before I got the box. There's a picture of my favorite thing in front of the box. I look at it every day, the picture. I pull out the box a few times a year, dust it off, look at the label, take out the contents, and hold it close to my heart. Then I put it away, back on the highest shelf of my bookcase, behind the picture of my favorite thing, on top of the Bible. I try not to think about it. I mean, it's only a box, right? I thought a few times about putting the contents into something all decorative, but changed my mind, because if I take out the contents and put it in a nice pretty container, people would come over and they'd see it and they'd ask, "When did you get such a beautiful piece?" And I'd have to tell them. I got it 1 month after I lost my grandmother. It was a January. It had fallen on the floor and someone disguised as a friend gave it to strangers driving a fast van with lights on top. They took it to a big building, but it had no papers, so no one knew what to call it. By the time I was able to tell everyone the name, they were writing it on a piece of paper and asking me how many copies I wanted for my records. When the man gave me the box, I read the label but didn't understand. How can you certify that the contents are the cremated remains of my mother? She can't be in a box on the highest shelf of my bookcase, behind my favorite picture on top of Grandma's Bible. She can't, because she's in me. I spent the day listening to this Bonnie Raitt song called Circle Dance over and over. There's a line in it that says, "After a while, I learned that love must be a thing that leaves." I guess it's safe to say that I've been living in this fear of letting anyone get too close. Too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears.